Hello, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? A quick audio check. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, yes.
You're audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, good. So, hi, everyone. My name is Ashish Garg. I will be going to be a tutor for this complete batch. This session will be in completely English language so that everybody can be pretty much comfortable, whoever is joining from India or from overseas. The one and only rule of this session, I'll say what I follow in all my other videos also. I think yeah, what I follow in all my other videos as well is that please make it a two-way communication, not a one-way communication. When I say a two-way communication, it simply means I want you to ask as many questions as you can, irrespective of it is a small question, it is a big question. Should I ask it? How will he feel if I ask this stupid question? No, please ask as many as questions as you want. I will be very, very happy to acknowledge all of them. So, giving a brief introduction about me, I have a pretty almost good years of experience in the IT industry. I have worked with different testing domains. When I say different testing domains, I mean I've worked in manual testing for a long time. I've been an automation tester for a long time. I have been, QE architect for a long time. Then being in the performance engineering, then being in the DevOps side of the engineering, multiple things. So I have a pretty much good experience in different technologies. Let it be using Python, let it be using Java. Both of them I have worked on equally. More specifically, if I say it's more about Python. So before I start with my demo session, I just want to know about a very specific information about you guys, that how many of you are working here and how many okay, let's start one by one. How many of you are working here? You can just write it at working www to just get a count of. And working, okay, let's complete this question. Also, how many of you have experience in Python who have previously worked in Python? Just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry. No, no Python, only Java, working but didn't have any experience in Python. Okay, no worries. I hope that out of all of us, most of us are belonging to the testing background, right? Either we are a fresher or we belong to the testing industry. Any developer also joining this course? Just to, you know, understand. Okay, perfect. So I hope you all might have received the course content already, what we are going to cover in this complete lecture. No? Okay, in case if you have not received it, might be you will be receiving it post the end of the demo session or maybe tomorrow for by by the next demo session. Till that, let me just give you a very, very easy brief what we all are going to cover. We're going to cover Python completely. When I say Python completely, it means we are going to start it from very basic, from scratch, I mean, and completing till the need in automation. Right. Post this, we will be starting with the second part of the project, which is Selenium. We will be starting with the very basics of Selenium and we'll be moving to till the advanced level of this. Along with this, in the end, we will add some lectures for Jenkins, mobile automation. You know, when we talk about different types of frameworks, we are going to cover robot framework. We are going to cover data-driven framework. We are going to cover, BDD framework. We are going to cover POM based framework. Along with all of these things, a very, very, very important thing in Python is called PyTest. PyTest is nothing but the testing framework for Python. So if you have worked in Java in a programming language like Java, you guys must have heard about TestNG and other, other things, but the same thing here is PyTest. So Selenium will be covered by you or Rahul, so it will be covered by me only. I will be wholly and solely responsible for this complete end-to-end course. Rahul is mainly into the Java side and related sections. Yeah. My name, if you're talking, my name is Ashish Garg, and yeah, any specific questions if you want to, feel free. What is the entire duration of the course? See, I never time. If you guys are a lifetime member of Way to Automation, if you have the access of my previous lectures, so till now, I believe I have taken almost 7, 8, or 10 batches in Way to Automation. So in all of these batches, what one thing I have always said is I never time box the duration of any course. It can be 2 months, it can be 3 months, even it can be 4 months. We never time box. Now, what is the difference? Why Ashish are you saying it can be 2, 3, or 4? It is because suppose if I try to complete it in 2 months and you guys are not at all, comfortable, you're not at all confident. In anything, so I will try to take it to the next deep level and explain you. No matter how many classes, how many sessions it takes, but understanding the concept is the main important thing. On the same time, if I see that okay, now all the students are good to learn, they're learning it at a very good pace, they are understanding the concepts, the course ends in 2 months. So it depends upon the strength on which you guys are learning. That is the main important thing. Any live project will be covered in this course. Yeah, we will be covering live project. When I talk about live project, we will be automating a complete website, a complete website which contains multiple web elements in it. Okay. And yes, a very important point, all the code which we are going to work on will be distributed in the form of GitHub only. So you have to go and create yourself a username on GitHub. I'll be giving all the ways of doing it, and then the complete project will be pushed on that, and you can take a pull every time. Only web and mobile automation, or we will cover API automation as well? No, API automation, API automation is not a part of this course. For API automation, we have a complete different course. What about the timings, Ashish? 10 a.m. means it's 12:30 a.m. EST. Is there any chance to shift to 9 a.m.? Yeah, possibly. Depending upon the requirement of students, however, the current time of the batch will be 10 a.m. IST. But if there is a requirement, we can shift it to 9 a.m. IST, depending upon the response which we get from the overseas students. Not a problem in that case. What will be the normal class timings in a week? It's as mentioned 10 a.m. to 11:30. So it's almost 1.5 hours of lecture on weekends. Like 1.5 are on, you say on Saturday, and 1.5 are on, we say, Sunday, like 3 hours in a week. Okay, next question is, so if I want to move in automation testing, which programming language should I start? If I am new, I'll come back to this question, Bharat. Can you add me in the WhatsApp group? Once you join, you are always welcomed in the group. Which domain of project as a live project will be covered? We'll be covering, we talk about, it's not a kind of a domain. We will be covering all the web elements, different types of web elements. You can say a website, you say, if you want to work on a calendar, if you want to work on a progress bar, all the jQuery elements, everything will, in that sense, will be covered. I'm planning to restart my career in IT after a long gap. I'm doing Java with Selenium course, also planning to join this course. What is it good to move? Java, Python, or having knowledge of both is good. Well, we'll come back to this question again. Um, 1.5 is good instead of 2 hours, correct. I do not want to strengthen it up. Let's make it easy, simple, and sufficient. Yeah. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer it again. So right now, how will be the fee for that? I'm not the correct person to answer, Amar. Rahul will be the correct person to answer the same. You can always reach out to him regarding fees and timings. Yeah. Only Saturday, no Ramesh. It's on both Saturday and Sunday. Let me write. It's on Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Last lectures, we got a request from multiple people that, hey, we are working on, only on the Windows project, Windows machine. So this time, to make the course different, we are going to use a Mac machine for this complete project, so that we have a variety of items in our bucket. So whosoever wants, like, have a problem, however, almost everything is similar. A basic installation might be different. For that, you can always go back to my video lectures where I have done everything on the Windows machine. Yes, recordings are do available. Anytime you can go back and check out the recordings. It's all there on the portal. Even if you miss a session, go ahead and check it out. You can always ask your doubts on the WhatsApp group. You can always ask a doubt on the WhatsApp group. I will give you my own number and my email ID. Feel free to contact me if you want to. For window machine, as I said, everything is similar. The same tools are we are going to use here also. For window machine, the only difference will be in the installation of items that you can go back in my previous lecture videos. Any lecture you open, you find Windows machine. This is the first time you're going to work on a Mac machine to make things easy. Yeah. So for the next demo session, the timing will be again 6 p.m. I'll come back in the end. Not a problem, Amar. I'll add it. Now, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. My project is related to Linux and we use Python programming. So can you plan any session on Linux? So Linux and Mac are some one of the similar things I couldn't. They are no more different. If you are work compatible with Macs, the similar things happens with Linux as well. No session, not tomorrow 6 p.m. Next weekend we have it on 6 p.m. The demo session. Once both the demo sessions are done, we're going to change the timings from that specific point only. So if I talk about when, so today is 20th. So from 3rd of September, we will be starting it from 10 a.m. itself. Okay. So course content, I have a very, very brief descriptive course content Rahul will be mailing the complete maybe by end of the day today or tomorrow. You can go ahead and check that. Mobile automation means APM, correct. We will be working on different reporting formats as well. Regarding robot framework, are we covering on it? Or just keyword explanation? I'll take two sessions where I'll be covering the basics of it. We have a complete different course of robot framework where I teach robot framework with mobile automation, robot framework with API automation, robot framework with web automation. But in this specific course, we will be just understanding the robot framework at a basic level, not in a deep. But however, data-driven framework will be completely explained, BDD will be completely explained, and POM also. After 2 weeks, the timing will be 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. depending. We might change. Which is a better option, data science or Python Selenium? Mhm. You're comparing. Okay, so Abhinav, you're asking me a question. Who is better, uh, Kareena Kapoor Khan or Katrina Kaif? You'll say both are good in their own way. Both have their own personalities. Both have their own things to do. Correct. So I'll not say data science is bad. I'll not say Python Selenium is bad. Python Selenium has a different use case, and data science have a very, very different use case. Yeah. Okay. So now, without wasting our time, we'll come to the questionnaire again in the end. But let's make some use of this demo session and try to focus on like what exactly things are. Okay. A very, very common question which I'm getting from you guys also, and which I normally get from other students of mine is, hey Ashish, can you compare Java with Python? Like, what makes it different? How can you say, hey, Java is better, or when do you say Python is better? Before I start both of them, let me just give you some facts and figures about it. You know what? Java developed in 1995, I guess. Yes, 1995. However, Python was being there from 1984. It was an ancient language, but it was used at a very, very minimal level. But when Java came into the market, everybody shifted to Java. But now, where when machine learning, when data science came into back into the picture, when there is a great advancements towards the artificial intelligence, people are again switching back to Python. But why not Java? Because there was a very, very simple reason behind it, that since data science and artificial intelligence, all of these things are already complicated, then why not to find a programming language which is simplest and easiest and the most powerful language available till date. The moment you say simplest, easiest, and powerful language, the first name comes in your mind is Python. And hence, Python was very, very tightly coupled with artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, and so on. Nobody says Java is difficult, but there are few differences which do makes it difficult. Now, the question comes, what are these changes, Ashish? Why, when are you saying these are the changes? Let's start one by one. When we talk about Java, I'll write pointers. Okay, it is so on my so anything before this pipe is Java and after this pipe is Python. Do not get confused. Okay, Java is a compiled type language. You know, however, Python is an interpreting language. Now the question comes, Ashish, you are giving it in words, but what exactly do they mean? Does they means? What is a compile type language and what is an interpreting? So see, if I say that, hey, you have 4 rooms available inside a house and you need to clean and you need to find the broken items if there is any. Otherwise, you have to give a approval that everything is fine. You go to the first room, you check everything, or you understand, hey, this cabinet is broken, hey, this music system is not working. You check three or four items. You go to the second room, you check again three four items. You go to the third room, you go to the fourth room. You create a list of items which are not working as per the standards. You come out of the whole house and say, hey Ashish, this is the list of items which is not working. So what exactly happened? And you say, plus please fix it, only and only then I'll buy your house, otherwise I'll not buy your house. I say, hey, it wasn't in I was not aware about these things, thanks for letting me know. What actually happened here? The thing that happened here is that I figured out a list of broken items inside that house before I purchase it. The same thing happens with Java. If the moment you write a piece of a code, it finds out all the issues, it finds out all the breaking statements, make a list and present it back to the user and ask the user, hey, first, remove all these errors, only and only then I'll execute the code. That's what a compiler does. A compiler compiles everything and presents the result in front of the user in a single go. It scans the complete code from first line to the last line, and wherever it finds an issue, it marks the issue and gives the user, hey, this is the list of issues which I have seen. You need to fix it up before it executes. Perfect. I compile time language. But when we talk about an interpreting language, I took everything with me, and the same example I'm taking, I'm going to, purchase a house. I entered room number one. I see a broken cabinet. I move out instantly. Immediately, I moved out and I said, hey, please fix it. Only then I'll move to the next room. So what happened here? It says that the moment you get a issue or an error in the piece of code which you have written, the programming language stops then and there. The program actually stops then and there. Suppose you have 10 lines of code, you got an error at line number 8, first line to line number 7 will execute flawlessly, but it will stop and ask you to fix line number 8 and then move on. That is a big difference between a compile type language and an interpreting language. Any example of you guys can give me of an interpreting language? Any example? Python is one. Any other? Okay, what are the different types of languages you have heard about?
C, C++,
Mm-hmm.
.NET,
Mm-hmm.
Java, and Python is already written.
Hmm.
C sharp.
C sharp, correct.
Yeah.
JavaScript, React.
JavaScript.
So, how many of you have executed any of these programming language? The moment you execute any of them, and if there is an issue, it shows you the issue instantly. For example, just give me a second. Let me just compile a code for you. Give me a minute, guys. Let me write a small piece of code. Okay. This is a small piece of code which I have written. Let me just zoom it up. Just try and explain me what do you understand. I simply say that, hey, forget about every other item. Just say A is 10, B is 20, and I'm saying A plus B. What should be the output?
30.
30. Exactly. You're saying, Ashish, you have gone mad. What are you asking us to do? No, but you'll not regret it. Output comes out to be 30. But what if I say that uh, if print v plus b? Now, what according to you should be the output?
V30.
What?
V20.
V20 you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I come to the next thing, just a small thing. See, V20, why it can never be V20? It's an incorrect answer, but why? We should know that why it is an incorrect thing. This V is a variable name like this. So when I was writing here A, why you replaced A with 10? Because A was mentioned here. But when I written V, V is nowhere mentioned here. Since V is nowhere mentioned here, then how can it be V20? It should have also been A20, but no, you said it 30. But you said this as V20. Why? Because you thought that V is a character here. No, V is not a character here. V here is a name. It's an identifier, you said. It's a name. So since it is not declared anywhere, the program stops and says, hey, first explain me what is V. Okay, what if I have written like this? If I have came here and I'll say, I have written hello, hello world, like this. Now, what will be the output of this code, according to you guys?
Hello world.
Okay, others?
Error.
Okay, let others also answer, and then I'll ask you simply, why error, guys?
Because second one is the v plus b.
Hmm.
The variable name is not declared. No? That's the reason you give the error.
Exactly, exactly what I wanted to explain here. So see, what happened, went to this line, it is perfectly written. It went to this line, it is perfectly written. It went to this line, it is perfectly written. It went to room number 4 and it found that there is a problem. The moment there was a problem in room number 4, it listed it up. It moved to room number 5 and all. It came out and said, hey, first of all, fix this issue and only then I'll work up. So this piece of code raises a very clear case of error. What error? It raises a compile time error. Why? It says, hey, first of all, fix this issue at line number this, and only then I'll execute it. Okay. Now, what if I say the output will be here? What will be the output now? Tell me. Just write it up. What will be the output now? Tell me, guys. Sony, what should be the output here?
I think error. It should give error.
Why?
Like in V plus V, a
Hmm.
variable is not defined. Due to that,
Correct. It will directly raise an error saying it's a compile time error. That is a type of a language which we call a compiled type language. The examples of this are C, C++. Mm, why it decreases automatically? C++, Java, and so on. Okay. Now let's come back to one more line of code. If I say A equals 10, B equals 20, print A plus B, output is 30, correct? Everybody knows it. Output is 30. Now, I say print, same thing, let's say, print D plus B. The output will be now,
error.
the output will be now
Error.
correct, error. Now, if I say print Hello. Now the output will be
Hello and error.
others. Tell me, Sony, what will be the output now?
If we taking this as a interpreter language,
Hmm.
then it will first print hello, then error.
Correct. Exactly. So output will be hello, and then it gives a error. Now, if I say print again, hello. Now what will be the output? Fast.
Hello, one
Hmm.
time hello, then error,
Hmm.
then hello.
Okay.
Not sure about that. Like second hello is print out.
Why are you not sure? Just go back to the example which I gave.
Yeah,
It
according.
went
Yeah,
it went to room number 1, everything is fine. He purchased it. He went to room number 2, things are not correct. He goes out of the house immediately. Now, since it moved out of the house immediately, he will never ever go to the room number 3. Since the program will never reach here, so this line will never be printed
got it.
unless or until this is fixed. Once this is fixed, it moves to the next executable line. Okay.
Thanks.
So any programming language which works in this way, and when I talk about this way, when it stops then and there and asks the user to correct it, it is called an interpreting language. Examples: Python, and a very, very famous language which most of us have learned when we were at our school timings or in the graduation,
PHP.
HTML. You heard about it?
Yeah.
So HTML is one of the same thing. It moves the cursor one by one, line by line to the next line. Perfect. I hope this difference is clear to everybody. What is the compile time language and interpreting language? Any questions? Any questions? Yes, no, maybe?
No.
Perfect.
So
Now,
that means whatever is written in the code, double quote, we will take it as a statement, and that will not give error then.
correct,
I
correct.
think.
I'll come back to that. When we will be discussing about strings and everything, we'll come to that. These are what are the different data types. This is just a starting.
Okay.
I'm just trying to explain you what is the compile type and interpreting. Forget about the syntax, forget about everything else. Okay, perfect. Now, moving ahead. Another very, very important difference between Java and Python is statically typed and dynamically typed. Now, difference between statically typed and dynamically typed. You guys just tell me yourself that what difference do you observe in these two pieces of codes. This is code 1, and I'll write a equals 10, b equals 20, print a plus b. Now, let's find, have all of you have must have played that game, find the differences in your childhood or even now. Tell me, what differences do you observe between this line of code and this line of code?
First program we define the data type for the variables. In second, we there is no data type
What
defined.
is a data type, Sony?
Integer A and integer B. Integer.
Integer, yes.
Correct. The very, very important thing here to be noted is in Java, everything, each and every data what we define needs to be told beforehand. If I'm saying the value of this container A, so take it as an example for who are new to programming languages. Take it as an example. In your home, you have a name. In your home, in your kitchen, your mother purchases a multiple box of containers. Now, when she purchases these containers, she puts, some peppers into one container. She puts some pulses into one type of pulse in one container. She puts tea in one container. She puts sugar in one container. She puts coffee in one container. How will you identify these containers? Your mother labels them, right? She labels it. This is sugar. This is this. This is this. This is this. This labeling only we are doing here. We are saying that label A contains a value 10, but along with this labeling we also need to tell what type of data does this A contains. For example, in a layman or in the day-to-day language, if I say suppose I am a very passionate person for tea, different type of teas. In my kitchen I have a row where there are 10 containers and all these 10 containers contains tea. Now I cannot write the same label for all of them. Why? Because one is from Darjeeling, one is from Sikkim, one is the local tea, one is from a different state. Now, how will I differentiate each and every container? However, it is tea only. For that, I need to tell that this is the type of tea it is. It is a green tea. It is, a specific XYZ tea. So the same thing I'm doing here. I'm telling I'm going to store integer type of data in this container A. And what data? Data 10. This is called dynamically, statically typed. Static, what does static means? Predefined. I already know it. I know statically defined it is. So whenever we define it beforehand, it is called a statically typed language. But suppose if we have some brilliant person, a brilliant audience like you, I create some tea and I take it in front of, let's take Abhinav. I gave him three types of teas. Abhinav is so talented. He drank the first one. He instantly tells, "Hey, this is from Darjeeling." He drinks the second one, tells, "This is from Sikkim." He drinks the third one, tells, "This is from an XYZ state." Now, this kind of capability Abhinav got, he cannot identify it after seeing it because all of them are in similar color. But after tasting it, the same thing happens in the dynamically type. That when this program executes, when the execution is in progress, at that point of execution only this thing is determined that, hey, A is containing an integer type of data, B is containing an integer type of data. We do not define it pre-hand that, hey, A and B are the two containers containing this type of T. No, it is happening when the complete code is written and it's when compiling. Okay, so it happens at runtime and it happens at compile time. Is the difference clear to everybody between statically typed and dynamically typed? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
I would like to hear it from other students who are not participating. Bharat, Dinesh, Fatima, Manas, Maitri, Umar,
Yes, yes, very clear.
Yes,
Yes,
clear.
Sujata,
yes, that's
Seema.
great.
Guys, please make it a two-way communication just to make sure that it's pretty much clear to you. Otherwise, I will assume it, and assumption
Yeah,
is the
it's
most
clear.
dangerous thing, right? I do not want to assume it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving ahead. This is the second difference which we talk about. Let's take this example in the same way. Okay, you might be understanding there is something called, it is not a difference, I'll say, it is more of a characteristic. If I take this code in front of a second class or a third class student, which output will he or she be able to give first? The first one or the second one?
Second one.
Clearly second one. It's like a piece of cake for him or her, right? So we say that Python is very easy to code and easy to learn. Okay, so we say Python is very easy to code as well as easy to learn. Okay, moving ahead. So how we differentiate it? We say it is complex learning graph, learning curve. However, it is an easy to learn, like that. Yeah, there are disadvantages. It's not like it's super perfect. Just give me a second, guys. Oh, yeah, sorry. So we normally say it's a complex learning graph. However, Python is an easy to go. Perfect. Moving ahead. Um, let's take it as if I do not want to if I talk about portability. You heard about a concept in Java called JVM? Anybody?
Yes, Java Virtual Machine.
Yes, Java Virtual Machine.
Can anybody explain me what is the use of it? Not in term what is written in books, but can you explain it in a very, very common layman language? What JVM does for Java?
So basically, what we can say is that JVM is its own operating system for Java, and in whatever machine the JVM deployed, whatever operating system is in the base, like Windows, Mac, or
Hmm.
Linux, it does not affect the performance of Java program on that machine. Whenever Java program is deployed, it's deployed in JVM, and JVM takes care of running that program on the respective operating systems.
Okay. Can anybody tell it in? Yeah, it's correct. I appreciate it. Any more simple way?
Yeah, JVM is like a virtual machine where we execute our Java program, which helps to execute Java program, and it also compile the Java program.
Okay. Then how does, like, my main question is, how is JVM related to portability? Any more simple way anybody can explain it? Everybody is correct, appreciable, but still.
So basically, to execute any code, we need this in Java.
Okay. Can I say this? Correct me if I am wrong. It turns the Java code into machine independent code. Simple. Can I say this?
Yes.
Correct. That's why we say whenever we download Java, JVM is downloaded. It simply converts your code into a machine independent code. Simple. That's it. So whenever there is JVM available into your system, irrespective, Java is very easy to port. Java is very easy to port because it has, JVM along with it. It always takes it with it. Whenever you install Java, it is installed, beforehand. But when we talk about Python, for Python, you should have the interpreter. You should have the interpreter already installed in the system. Since it is, I'll not say it's not machine independent. The code is do machine independent. It's it's available in Linux, Mac, as well as Windows machine. But there are multiple different platforms where it might create a problem which does not have an interpreter associated with it already. Because of that, we say it's not so easy to port. Not so easy to port because Python, when you download Python, interpreter is not downloaded along with it. Python pre-assumes that the machine already has an interpreter in it. And that's the reason the machines which do not, operating systems which do not have an interpreter pre-installed with it, Python will not work for them. Okay, that's the another difference. And rest we have multiple things in into taken into consideration, but these are the major things. So when we talk about, hey Ashish, what to learn, what not to learn, it's completely your call. I say that Java is important, but I also say that you know um, Python is equally important. Just give me I'll show you a graph. Utkarsh, can you please mute yourself in case if you have no questions? Thank you. I'll show you one graph. Just give me a second.
Before that, can I ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like you said that Python consider that interpreter is already installed in the
Hmm.
system. So how we check whether interpreter is installed or not in my system?
It's not like that. So whenever you download any programming language now, so you download a programming language, if it is working like Python, you can check, okay, yeah, everything is working fine. But there is, you have to otherwise go into the boot level of the system, where if you turn on your whenever you turn on your computer at the very starting there, if you click some buttons, it shows you the boot menu.
Yeah,
In that boot menu only you can confirm if there is an interpreter associated or not. Otherwise directly there is no other way. Okay. Okay, there is one very very popular graph going on in the market, which is this. Try and understand this graph. It says this is the year and the percent of the Stack Overflow questions taken in that year. So Stack Overflow, I guess almost all of us might be already knowing that whenever you search for something, Stack Overflow is the very first thing which answers your question. Till the year 2017, Python was always down the line from Java. But when AI, machine learning, data science, multiple things came into the picture, you can see the graph is up, up, and up year by year, year by year. Seeing this graph, you can easily say that, hey, Java do have a very, very strong base. But going ahead in the market of artificial intelligence, in the market of machine learning, in the market of data science, Python do have a very, very strong control. That is the reason nowadays organizations, very, very big organizations, if I talk about NASA, if I talk about Google, these organizations are actually using Python as their base language. They have already shifted from Java to Python. Why? Because they're seeing the scope, the growing nature, which actually makes the availability of multiple jobs and so on. So my main motive here is Python. There was a phenomenal time when we used to think that Python was not important, but now Python is very, very important to learn and to learn and to code and to excel in the industry. That is the reason we are starting this course. And I personally just love this language. It's what I say now. I say that Java is more syntax oriented. This is my definition. However, Python is more logical oriented. What you want to think now, if I talk about you only, how many of you are completely new to programming language? Anyone out of in this out of the available students completely new to the programming language, or they're learning it for the very first time?
Me, I'm completely new to this, like
Okay.
very new.
Okay, Anusha. So in that case, if I say you write a program to add two numbers, your first day in the session, you move in the class, and I ask you, Anushka, stand up and write a code to add two numbers in Java. You'll be like, hey, Ashish, what are you saying? I know how to add it. I know I need to take the value of A, I need to take the value of B, and just add sign, and the result will be in front of me. Correct?
Yeah,
I know how to do it, but I don't know how to portray it. I don't know how to execute it in Java. But at the same time, Python comes into rescue. Hey, you are coming like A equals to 10, B equals to 20, and Ashish, I'm writing A plus B, and the output is in front of you. That's it, done.
yeah,
You understand the difference.
yeah, I am.
That's why I say that Python is more into the logical area. It you think and you do. When you compare it to the other languages, you think you know how to do it, but still you're not able to portray your thoughts on the screen. That's the main difference where it becomes. Okay, is it clear to everybody till here? Yes, no, maybe. Should we move ahead?
Yeah. Ashish, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So Ashish, means with respect to the automation testing industry, currently I'm in manual testing. And
Mm.
so as per your experience, job opportunities more available in Java or Python?
See, Bharat, my perspective is very different towards this question. My perspective is that nowadays there was a time when people used to search a Java Selenium engineer and people used to search a Python Selenium engineer. The day today is, if I am going to hire somebody in the market, I want that person to be good in manual. I want that person to be good in automation. In automation, he should be at least good in two languages. I'm talking about the word at least. Java, Python, nowadays Ruby, C Sharp, and multiple other things are actually actually increasing. Third, he should be good, she should be good in performance engineering. He or she should be good in, finding the issues, finding the errors. And once all of these things are done, we will be again, checking the communication skills and all these things. So nowadays, though, it's a package what an organization want. It's no more left the days where only one quality of an engineer was required. No, a single engineer should be able to work with 3 or 4 domains at least to get into a good MNC. And when we talk about as a fresher level job, I say that Python is a very, very good thing to enter the industry at least enter the industry. And there's always good to understand and to learn new things, right? When I talk about, to be very, very specific to your question, Bharat, definitely nowadays in the market, Python plus Selenium and robot framework API, all these things are actually on a boom compared to Java and Selenium. You go to naukri.com, just type your designation, go to the job description. I can guarantee out of 10 results, 8 will be asking you for Python as a base programming language. So then and there you can, and along with that, they will not be removing Java at all. Take that also into consideration. So I hope I answered your question, not confused you.
Yes, Ashish, thanks for such a good description.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, this is about basic Java, Python, and all these things, which keeps happening.
Is there any version
I'm coming to it.
for Python?
Yeah. Python started with Python 1.0. I'll say 1.x, then Python 2.x, then Python 3.x, which is ongoing. Python 1.x started from 1995. Give me a minute, guys. I did something. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. Python 1.x was in the market, I believe, till the early 2000s. Then the people started shifting to, Python 2.x, Python 2.x. Here, X is the version 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, and up to. It went from 2.1 to 2.8 last. The last, as far as I remember, the complete Python support for Python 2.8 and less was dropped in 2020. The complete Python support for 2.8 and less was dropped in 2020. They say we are not, the Python community said that we're not going to, support this anymore because we have much more powerful Python 3.x. The latest version in the market for Python is 3.10.4. So Python 2 and Python 3 are completely different things. So what happened, if I just give you a history check, so when Python 2 came into the picture, all the engineers were so much comfortable in developing in Python 2.x that they do not want it to switch to Python 3 because Python 3 was a complete new world which has no backward compatibility. The biggest disadvantage what Python showed at this point of time was there was no backward compatibility. When I compare this to Java, when Java 1.8 came into the picture, when 1.9 came in, came into the picture, these all are backward compatible equally. But when, like, they are also supporting the lower versions when they are developing a newer one. But when Python 3.x came into the picture, they completely dropped the support from 2.x and it was completely different. So now what the main question was, now what about those engineers who worked 5 years, 10 years in 2.x, they have written their code and now you are saying it's closed. So for that, these guys bring into a library said Python 2 to 3. So using this library, all the functions of 2.x was converted to 3.x and it was made sure that nothing is missed or breaked. Now the support for this is also dropped, support for this also dropped. The latest thing in the market is Python 3.x and the latest version right now is 3.10.4. I hope I answered the question. Yes, no, maybe
Yes.
unclear.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Now the question is, Ashish, how to install Python? A very good question. So it's a simple answer. Just open your browser, just type download Python. Go to the very first web option available. If I tell you the website, give me a sec. The website name is python.org/downloads. Now, whatever type of machine you have, if you have a Mac machine or a Windows machine or a Linux machine, it gives you the download options. Simply download the exe file or a DMG file or a TGZ file. So exe is for Windows, DMG is for Mac, TGZ is for Linux. And once the setup is downloaded, you need to install it. That's it. During installation, it's nothing. You have to just give the download location for Windows machine specifically, and that's it. For Mac machine, you have to simply download and click double install it, and it will be done automatically. Nothing else. Okay.
So Ashish,
Can he?
in the upcoming session, will you also show us the means how to download this, or
Definitely. This is a demo one, so you can always go to my previous lectures. I have clearly
okay,
mentioned
okay,
there. Otherwise, if you want, I can. There's always like in the next class, you can always ask me that, hey, Ashish, I have problem in this. It's not working. Share your screen, and it will be resolved then and there.
okay, okay. No, worries. Thank you.
Let me just wait. Let me just again reshare my screen to you guys. Uh, 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 give me a second. Uh, 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 yeah. I hope the screen is visible to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So here, okay, it's 3.10.6 as the latest version. So I just on the same website which I mentioned, python.org/downloads, it shows you. So since I am a Mac user, so it automatically identifies it and says download the latest version for Mac OS. You click here, it prompts you and it starts the downloading then and there. It's a PKG file, not a DMG. DMG, it's a package specifically. If you talk about Python for Windows, click here. The latest Python 3 release, click there. It gives you all the latest information and so on. But if you talk about downloading itself, just go to downloads, active package for that Windows. It will show you an option for Windows only, and if you're operating it with a Linux machine, it will show you a Linux uh, download itself. So like that. Otherwise, you can, if you're looking for a specific release, you're saying, hey, I'm not comfortable in 3.1.0, I want 3.8, that is a stable release. You can always go back and search for it and download it. So when it was released, when it happened, everything is mentioned here. So you see, this is released recently at August 2 only. Python 3. And if you want to know that what's the new thing which came into here, These are the new things which they introduced in the latest version. So you can always compare it, and if somebody asks you, hey, what was the difference in, the last release and this release, you can always get the answer for.
Is a freeware?
Correct. It's a completely freeware system. You have to not pay anything.
Okay. For any Eclipse or IntelliJ can use?
We are coming to that.
Right.
I'm coming to that. So
Okay.
2.7, if you see 2.7 maintenance status is end of life. They're saying for 2.7 and other versions, it's completely, they have moved to end of life. When was it released? It was released in 2010. When was the support ended? The support ended on 1st of January 2020. Now they are no more maintaining this version at all. The 3.7 is in the security phase. The support will end at 2023, the 2024, and so on. For the latest version, they're saying the support will be ending in 2026, and so on. So you can always check it out for all these things, just going and visiting their own website. Now, when we talk about a very interesting thing that, hey, we downloaded Python, but where to execute the code, you can always check it out. Just right here, download PyCharm. Go to the very first option. The PyCharm is an IDE which we are going to use. What is an IDE? IDE is you talk about as integrated development environment, that hey, this is the place where we are actually going to code. So you come to this website. Again, I'll copy and paste it in the section, note section only. For Windows, if you want to download it, for Mac or for Linux, it gives you all the options. It has two versions, a professional version and a community version. You have to download the community version, which is free of cost. The moment you click on it, it starts downloading. It's of almost 500 MB. It should take a minute or two, and the download will happen. I'll show you how it looks like when you open it. We'll come to that point. Let me just write for PyCharm. The link is this. You have to just install it in the same way. It's an installation thing. For main, brief steps, you can check out my previous videos, or I'll take it in the first lecture. Definitely, I'll show you how to do it step by step, then and there. Okay. So now the question is, hey Ashish, now how is it looking? How does PyCharm feels like? We'll come to the coding side in the next demo. I'm not shifting to that side today at all. Before we move there, let me explain you a very, very interesting concept which Python shares. Let me give you a question.
Hey
Okay.
Ashish,
Yeah,
can you put this link in chat?
sure. This I have for PyCharm, I have mentioned it in the chat. You can check it out there. Okay. A very, very interesting concept which makes Python very, very different from other programming languages. Try and understand this scenario, and whosoever knows the answer, please stay quiet. And whosoever does not, please feel free to talk as much as you want to. You have project 1, you have project 2, you have project 3. Project 1 works on Selenium 2.x and Python 2.x. Project 2 works on Selenium 3.x and Python 3.x. Project 3 works on, you talk about Selenium 4.x and Selenium Python, let's say 3.x, like this. All of these 4 projects I say. Just a second, let me take. Sorry. The complete project. Let me, I'm not able to do it. Leave it. The complete project 1, project 2, and project 3, it is available inside, let's say, machine 1. You have 3 projects. Now, what is the problem that you are facing here? The problem which you are facing here is when you execute project 1, I'll make a truth table kind of thing, P1, P2, P3. When you execute project 1, I say project 1 is executing. Instantly, what happens? Project 2 and project 3 stops no working, I'll say. Why? Because at a point of time, you can only and only install one version of a software. If you have installed Selenium 2.x and Python 2.x globally, 3.x will definitely throw errors and 4.x will also throw errors because the new functionalities which is introduced in these versions is not available here. Okay, when you execute project number 2, project number 1 and 3 stops working. Why? Because of the same reason that I have 3.x. So all the backward compatibility is not there in Python. So it will not support, it will not execute 1. And since Selenium 4.x is required in project 3, it will also not work. When I execute project 3, 1 and 2 stops working. Is there a way? So the problem statement is I want to execute project 1, 2, and 3, all of them in the same machine and all together. I want to make them independent of each other. Do we have a way of doing it? Is there a way? Anyone? Do we have a way to make the projects independent?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, how?
We can use Maven for dependencies.
Maven is available in Java, not in Python,
Oh,
but you are on the correct path.
okay, so
Anyone else? Like, just forget about the term and technologies in the market. Think about a solution. First, you should know, like, logically what solution is there, then will come that, okay, these are the available things and that and so. Can,
by creating virtual environments.
okay, correct.
And
Anyone else? Like, I hope the problem statement is clear to everybody. Yes, no, maybe.
Can we use VMware for every project?
Okay, one possible solution is VMware.
In Python interpreter, we can select different interpreter in PyCharm.
For that, we need to always go and simultaneously change them. So the problem statement is still there that I cannot execute all of them independently altogether if I want to. Anything else?
Any IDE we can.
IDE, we have PyCharm already. Like, treat it like that. If I connect it to a very layman language, example, let me create an example.
Can we create port and like each project will go on different port to execute?
Yeah, that is again a good answer. So, okay, let me take an example of Indian joint families. You might be thinking that Ashish have gone mad, but trust me, I'm just trying to make things easy. A typical daily soap joint Indian joint family. What happens? There are four families in the joint family, and all of them are all together. But what happened now that initial days, all the cash, all the earnings, all the salary was there with only one person, the head of the family. So what started happening that family one wants gold rings, and family two wants diamond rings, family three wants solitaire ring, family four wants platinum rings. Now, keeping in mind the budget, it was very, very impossible that at the same time the head of the family can make sure that all the requirements of all these four families are fulfilled. Clearly, next to impossible. So, what solution a gentleman came and gave? He said that why don't you make them independent, still making them dependent? He was like, are you in your mind? Like, what are you talking about? He said that why not to give them their salaries independently, whatever they're earning, keep it, and just give a part of it globally to the head of the family. Suppose if you are earning 100 rupees, give 10 rupees each. That's it. 10% of your salary to the head of the member, remaining keep yourself. Same thing happens here. Same thing happens here. How? We say we are going to give each and every project its own virtual environment. We are saying that for each and every project now you guys are going to have your own salaries. You are going to keep it in your salary. Nobody will question you. What are you doing? What are you purchasing? The same way, nobody will ask you what all libraries have you installed in your virtual environment. Nobody will ever question if you have installed one library, if you have installed 10 libraries. Means nobody will question the family if you have purchased a gold ring or a platinum or a diamond, because depending upon their budget, they do it. Depending upon the resources, they are doing it. And then there might be a family which have multiple things, they are doing it in their own way, but both of them are now independent. Same way, the virtual environment is attached with each and every project which we create in PyCharm, which we create in Python, we attach it. We say all the libraries that project needs will be downloaded only locally to the project, which means keep in mind this is a very, very important word, locally to the project. Because if you're downloading so see, if family one was purchasing a platinum ring, they're not interfering with family two who is having a diamond ring. They're not asking them to borrow. It's their own local thing. But the head of the family can have that 10%, which is global to everybody. There is a set of rules which all of the four has to follow. The same thing happened here. This virtual environment one, if I talk about VENV1, it has its own local space where it downloaded the libraries which is required to run this project. The same thing happened for the remaining three projects. We created VENV2, we created VENV3. It again required 3.3.x. So 3.x was available for it. It required 4.x, 4.x was installed for it, but all of them were again locally to the project itself, which means this can never ever interfere with this can never ever interfere with this. And all the three projects are now executing on the same machine without interfering, without having, one single version. They all have their different versions, but they're still compatible and they're still running under the head of the family. Am I clear to everybody? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
Please be very, very blunt in saying no. I love that. But just do not say yes for the sake of yes. If it is clear, say clear. Otherwise, clearly say no. Sam, is it clear to you? I have not seen any response from you till now. Utkarsh, Srini, Vimit. Okay, so this is the way we talk about a virtual environment is needed, the requirement. That is why it makes a programming language a different language. Now, along with it, there is a very new concept introduced in Python, which is called, now, if I say you have to download Selenium 2.x, you say, hey, we'll go to internet, we'll download it, and we'll just check it out. That's it, done. No, it doesn't work like that. It do works like that. You get the libraries, you copy paste them, perfect. But there is one more important thing, which is called pip. Pip means pip. You normally call it as a pipe. People call it pipe, people call it pip, people call it pip. Up to you, whatever you want to call it. I call it pip. So whenever you want to install a library, whenever so I'm again and again using a word called library. What is a library? A library is a package. It is a suitcase full of functions. It is a suitcase full of different types of clothes. Whenever whichever is needed, you go to that suitcase, pick it out, use it, and keep it back. So same thing, Selenium is a suitcase name 2.x, which has plenty of functions into it, which I can go and use. So any suitcase which have a plenty of functions to use it, any package which has a plenty of functions to use, we call that package as a library. So whenever you want to install a library, you simply write pip install library name. That's it. I want to install Selenium, I'll write pip install Selenium. That's it. I want to install robot framework, I'll write pip install robot framework. That's it. Simple. So it works in this way. So keep in mind what is pip, how do we create virtual environment. We'll come to that in the next lecture when I'll be showing you the coding part of the strategy. For today, I just wanted to make clear about what is Python, how is it different from Java, what are the different characteristics into it. In the next lecture, we'll come back and we'll learn. Let me just write it out. In the next lecture, we'll come back and we'll be learning about the coding standards used in Python. Along with, we will be seeing Selenium into action, that how is Selenium working. We'll be seeing a Jenkins file, executing the complete project, We will be seeing a report for test cases, and in the next lecture, if I talk about we as a part of the demo only, I'll say, yeah, I'll not stretch it out a lot, but I'll be working on all these 4 items in the next lecture. So any questions to anybody till now, whatever we learned, please feel free to ask and communicate. I'll appreciate your questions.
How do we create this virtual environment? I'm like very new to this, so.
Do not worry, we'll come to that next lecture. I'll show you the complete phenomena.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you how do we do it manually, how I'll show you how do we do it automatically, both the things.
Ashish, first we will learn Python, then we will move to Selenium, or parallelly we will learn everything?
No. First Python and then Selenium. We'll be learning starting with Python scratch, understand it, understand the concepts, understand the data structures. Once we're done with it, we'll be understanding exception handling, logging, and then we'll moving towards the Selenium side of the picture. And then, yeah, boom, that's it.
You're doing Selenium 4 here?
We will check. I am not sure about Selenium 4.x, but for 3.x for sure, we are going to work on that. Selenium 4.x do have some different things. I just need to check it out. I'll let you know in the next session.
So actually, this class is going to be conducted only on weekends, right?
Correct. On Saturdays and Sundays, for
Okay.
1.5 hours.
Yes, sure. So in between, if I have some doubt or want to learn some extra, so can I go to your previous recorded
Always,
lecture?
always, always.
Okay, thank you.
Whenever you want, you can just connect, go and back to the previous lectures, check
Hmm.
out the things. And trust me, in every previous batch, I have done things very, very differently. Batch 1 might have its own qualities, batch 7 might have its own qualities, and this time, this batch might have its own quality. So yeah, you can always go back and check it out. And in case if you have a doubt or a question, feel free to drop it on the WhatsApp group or ping me individually or email me your question. I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, okay. Many thanks.
Yeah. Both Python and Selenium will be covered by you only. Yep. Both Python and Selenium will be covered by me only. Am I that bad? You don't want me to cover Selenium? Just kidding. Mate, I have enrolled. Can you add me to the WhatsApp group? Yeah, you can ask Rahul to do the same. He'll be happy to do it. These things are all the logistics are, all these kinds of things, admin things are handled by Rahul only. Um, so regarding fees, regarding curriculum, everything, yeah. Behave BDD will be covered. Yes, definitely. As I mentioned in the starting of the lecture, it is a very, very crucial thing for any tester developer to do it. Yeah, we'll cover that.
Just one question from me.
Mm-hmm.
See, when our classes will start in the morning at 10 a.m., it will not be possible for me to attend live classes. So how soon will the recordings will be available so that I can view them, and if I have any questions, I can ask.
By the end of the day or in the next 3 or 4 hours, Rahul updates it normally.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Tomorrow will also be demo session. No, the next demo session is on next Sunday. Not tomorrow. Let me tell you the date. The next demo session is being planned for 28th of August at same time. And then from 3rd September, we kickstart the session. Okay. Yeah, you can again ask Rahul to do the same. If Rahul gets a majority, if you shift the class to 9 a.m., I have no issues in doing the same. Yes, we do not have a class tomorrow. We have a class on next Sunday, 28th of August directly. And then from 3rd and 4th September, we're going to kickstart it on every weekend.
Since I'm in US, so is it possible to move a bit early?
Yeah, as I said, you can ask Rahul to do the same. In case if he gets a majority of requests, we might shift the timings to 9 a.m.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Any more questions, guys? Any question comes that into your mind, feel free to ask me, no matter if it is related to this course or not. We can even crack jokes in this session. I do sometimes. Any feedback if you want to give it to me so that I can improve myself in the next lecture, I always ask all my students. You want me to slow down? You want me to communicate in Hindi? Or any feedback if you want to give it to me. Or I am good as I am, whatever.
I think this the way is good. Yeah, you can use.
Thank you. Others don't have any feedback for me. They're like, oh, not interested.
No, you are a very good trainer. That I think. You
Oh no.
It's very simple terms, and I'm not sure about the others, but I am very sure. Like I have learned Python very soon and move my career into the automation.
Yeah, thank you. It's not about, see, I do not like the bookish language. It's important, but at the same time, if you relate it in your day-to-day language, things now it becomes very easy to understand. That's it.
Yeah, like you are giving the easy examples like family, and also it is more related. We relate it easily and we can understand it more easily.
Yeah, agreed.
Before
Okay.
this Python Selenium, I already joined Java Selenium course.
Mhm.
But I'm not very good with Java after that training. I'm not saying like training is bad.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not good to learn Java. That's the thing. So I think Python is.
But one thing that I would be requesting all of you here is that whatever we are going to study in each and every day, I
Mhm.
will be sharing you some assignments, not exactly on the very first time, but whenever I do, please make sure you complete it. And whatever I teach, please make sure you practice it at least one time. Do not leave it that, oh, it was done no, in the video, that's it. Do it yourself. And once you do it yourself, you will get multiple questions. You'll come back to me. I'll be happy to answer like that. Okay. Chalo. Okay, fit then guys, that's it for the day. We might connect back on 28th of August. So I'm expecting multiple of you to back with it. Till that time, stay safe, stay home. And let me share my contact details in case if you have any questions. My contact details are 7011197716. My contact number and my email ID is agarg9582@gmail.com. So you can always contact me either on my WhatsApp me on this number or email me your query. I'll be happy to answer you at the same time. Okay. Till that, stay safe, stay home, guys. It's very bad outside. Bye-bye. Any questions anyone have left, please feel free to stay by the end. If you're not comfortable in asking in public, I'll be waiting. Otherwise, you guys can leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Avish.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, then, in case if you guys have any questions, if not, then let's wrap the session. Bye-bye.